Mosquito. It drifts in on a thin whine and lands so softly you never feel it. By any honest count, it is the deadliest animal alive. Between 725,000 and more than 1 million people die because of it every year, and almost none of them from the bite itself. Set that against the animals we fear on sight. Snakes take around 100,000 a year. Sharks, the villains of every summer, kill perhaps 5 to 10. The small gray insect on your arm outkills all of them combined, many times over. And yes, the mosquito is a true fly. The bite is nothing. A pinprick, a small itch. The danger rides in with it. A payload of parasites or virus pushed straight into your blood as the mosquito feeds. Only the females feed at all. They need a meal of blood to build their eggs, while the males spend their lives drinking nectar and harming no one. What she injects can be malaria, and malaria alone killed an estimated 597,000 people in one recent year, most of them children under 5. That is a city of children every year. The same insect carries dengue, yellow fever, and the worms behind elephantiasis, the sickness that swells a human limb until it no longer looks like a limb. One old claim says it has killed nearly half of every human who ever lived, some 52 billion people, though no one has ever proven that figure. Tsetse fly. The mosquito's toll is enormous, but the illnesses it spreads run much like other illnesses. A bite from the tsetse fly reaches the brain itself. This large brown fly of Central Africa drives its mouthparts into the skin and leaves behind a parasite that slips past the body's defenses and works its way up into the brain. There, it attacks the rhythm of sleep. Days and nights invert, then blur. A deepening drowsiness settles in that no rest can lift. And at the end comes coma. Untreated, sleeping sickness kills almost everyone it takes. The fly that delivers it lives in a way almost no other insect can match. A female tsetse grows a single larva inside her own body, feeding it on a milky fluid from a gland, one baby at a time. When she gives birth, the newborn is nearly as large as she is. Both males and females live entirely on blood, and a single meal can weigh more than twice the fly that drank it. Its shadow falls on more than people. The cattle sickness it spreads leaves a belt of Africa roughly the size of the United States, too dangerous for raising livestock. Yet, this is a plague being driven back. Steady control has cut new human cases by about 97% in 20 years, from millions once at risk, down to around 675 reported in a recent year. Black fly. The tsetse's parasite is far too small to see. What a black fly leaves inside you can grow to the length of your whole arm. These small humpbacked flies breed in fast-running rivers, and where they gather, they bite over and over. And with the bites, they plant a worm. It settles under the skin and curls into a knot inside a lump you can feel with a fingertip. From there, it keeps growing, until it reaches as much as half a meter, still coiled and alive under your skin. A grown female worm does not simply sit there. She releases 1,000 to 2,000 young every single day, and can keep it up for as long as 15 years. Those young spread through the skin in their millions, and some of them wander into the eyes. When they die there, the eye inflames, scars, and slowly clouds over. This is river blindness, the second leading infectious cause of blindness in the world, behind only trachoma. Around 18 million people carry the infection, and some 270,000 have already lost their sight to it. In the worst-hit villages, the toll ran so high that up to a third of the adults went blind, and whole communities packed up and left the rich land along the rivers rather than be robbed of their eyes. Among those who carry the worms for years, the skin thickens and loses its color in mottled patches, pale against dark, like the hide of a leopard. Sandfly. The black fly steals the sight, but usually leaves its victim alive. A sandfly, no larger than a grain of rice, far more often does not. It is one of the smallest biting flies there is, only a couple of millimeters across, small enough to walk straight through the mesh of an ordinary mosquito net. From that single tiny bite comes a disease called visceral leishmaniasis, and left untreated, it kills more than 95 in every 100 it infects. The parasite works out of sight, deep in the body. It moves into the spleen and the liver, swelling them until they fail, and invades the bone marrow as well, until death comes through uncontrolled bleeding, or an infection the ruined body can no longer fight. In parts of the world, it stands as the second heaviest parasitic killer of people, after malaria alone. Its old name, Kala Azar, means black fever. given because the sickness darkens the skin of the dying. A related form of the disease turns on the face. It eats slowly through the soft tissue of the nose, the lips, and the throat, hollowing out the features and leaving open wounds where a face used to be. The true reach of it hides in another way as well. Somewhere between 50 and 90,000 new cases of the deadly form appear each year, yet only a quarter to a half of them are ever written down. Most who die of it are never even counted. Screwworm. A sandfly kills with a parasite it plants in you. The screwworm needs no parasite at all. Its own young do the killing. A female finds an open wound on a living animal, or a soft body opening like the eye, the nose, or the mouth, and lays her eggs right at the edge of it, around 340 at a time. What hatches out feeds only on living flesh. These larvae ignore dead tissue and eat only what is alive, working into the living body while its owner still breathes. They take their name from how they burrow. Each larva twists as it goes, driving itself deeper into the flesh the way a screw bites into wood, and its body is ringed with backward-pointing barbs that hook into the tissue so it cannot easily be pulled out. As the wound rots and spreads, the smell pulls in yet more females to lay more eggs, so the injury feeds on itself and grows, and without treatment, it can kill. 60 years ago, this horror was driven out of the United States by a strange and brilliant trick. Billions of male flies were sterilized and set loose, so that wild females mated, but laid eggs that never hatched. It worked. Yet, since around 2023, the screwworm has been pushing north again, up through Central America and Mexico, back toward the border it was once cleared from. Human botfly. Where the screwworm kills fast and in the open, with hundreds of maggots, the human botfly works alone and slow. A single grub that lives in the flesh for weeks. Stranger still is how it gets there. The female never lands on you. She catches a mosquito in the air, glues her eggs onto its body, and lets the mosquito ferry them to you. A single female may load 100 to 400 eggs onto many different carrier insects across about a week. When one of those carriers settles on warm skin to feed, the heat hatches the eggs on cue, and the freed larva drops down and burrows in within minutes. Once inside, it settles in to live. For weeks, it grows in the flesh, feeding, and to keep breathing, it holds a small hole open at the surface of your skin. People carrying one often say they can feel it, a shifting, a slow movement under the skin, and now and then, faintly, the sense of something turning inside them. The grub swells to a few centimeters before it works its way out. It drops to the ground and changes into an adult fly. Most of the time, it ends there, alarming but survivable. Now and then, it does not. In infants, whose skulls have not yet closed over, a larva has burrowed through the soft spot at the top of the head, down to the brain beneath, and there, it killed the child.